Welcome back to Season 4 of the Lisbon Sessions. In this episode, David Russell speaks with Vasco Almeida Diaz of Lexidy Law.
Hi everybody, welcome back to Season 4 of the Lisbon Sessions. Thankfully, we're back in Lisbon. We're away from rainy Porto. I think Noah's Ark almost followed us down the river in Porto when we were there. Back in Lisbon at Park Eduardo 7. I'm joined by a veteran of the sessions, Vasco Almeida Diaz from Lexidy Law Boutique. Vasco, welcome back.
Thank you very much, David. A pleasure to be here with you again in Lisbon.
So, Vasco, we'll cut right to the chase. Lots of things going on in Parliament at the moment with citizenship. Importantly, citizenship. Let's park the Golden Visa for the moment because there are no changes planned for that. All of the political parties like it for residency. But in terms of citizenship, let's say the laws that are going to pass. Take us through it. What happens? What can people do?
So basically we are now on hold because of the elections for the President of the Republic. But since last summer, June or July, we have been discussing the new citizenship law. And in my opinion, this law will in fact be approved, and we will pass from the current 5 years that we still have to 10 years. So basically anyone who starts the Golden Visa application now in the future, or who has already started the application, will be under the new law. It will have to spend 10 years in Portugal. When we say 10 years, I'm not saying in fact living here. It can be just like we do have at the moment, 7 days per year on average, before applying for the citizenship.
And that's very important to know. So people do not have to move and live here permanently for 10 years. If they're with the Golden Visa program, 7 days on average per annum, I think it's 14 over a 2-year period. And then at the end of the 5 years, permanent residency. What does somebody get with permanent residency?
So that's a very good question. Why? So far, since the beginning of the Golden Visa program, we have not explored the permanent residency that much because we had the passport after 5 years, so there was no need to apply for the permanent residency. Now with this new or this updated citizenship law, the permanent residency gains another interest. So from imagining that we have the new citizenship law, 10 years, what will happen is that after 5, the Golden Visa holders can apply for the permanent residency. This permanent residency is a special one where the holders can redeem the investment. They don't need to reside here, so they don't need to become a tax resident, which would have a lot of implications. And in the case of holders with children of age, they don't need to keep proving that they are financially dependent, full-time students, or single.
Okay.
So basically, they can keep for another 5 years, coming to Portugal for 7 days per year on average, and after those 5 years they can still apply for the passport just like they could do now after 5.
So really, let's go, if the situation does change, the law gets passed, there's no real great shakes, as we would say. There's no panic. The Golden Visa still exists in its current form. You get your permanent residency after 5 years. That gives you all host of bits of benefits with healthcare systems, education, everything like that. You put an application in for your permanent residency, that's achieved, and then you would simply continue the whole process of every couple of years, 14 days, etc., etc. And it's time. So effectively, what you're saying is it's going to be time served. You just have to wait it out to get your passport.
That's exactly the case, and it's very important to mention something. Since the beginning of this discussion about the citizenship law, a lot of misinformation, especially online, where when people mix the Golden Visa law and the nationality law. So it's important to mention that we have 2 different laws here. One is the immigration law that rules all the visas, including the Golden Visa, and that law was updated the last time in the summer.
Okay.
And the government, or the parliament, did not touch the Golden Visa, which means that this is a very stable program that the government, despite of the party in the government, they want to keep this program running. In terms of the time you need to spend in the country, the investment options you have, everything remains the same way as everyone knows. What's in discussion here is a citizenship law that will most likely pass from 5 to 10 years. But other than that, everything remains the same. And with the permanent residency, we don't have a dramatic change in the life of the applicants. Of course, we are adding another 5 years, but in terms of costs, investment, it's not that complex.
And as you said, people can take their investment if they want off the table after they get the permanent residency. So they're not having to stay invested for 10 years. So they can take a liquid event and they can take their money back. It's more just the time that it's going to take practically.
That's exactly it.
To
That's
get the
just time,
citizenship.
because more important for me than the investment is that they won't need to keep paying the government fees, IMS fees, to renew the Golden Visa, which are quite expensive,
Yeah.
as you know. So it's not as ideal as what we have now,
Of course.
but in my opinion won't make this program any worse. And if people compare the different programs across the Europe, the Portuguese Golden Visa will still be the most favorable option for those who are looking for the passport.
And I think it's important, Vasco, because certainly from our side, a lot of the debates in Portugal, when you review them and look at them online, if you're sitting in Malibu having a glass of wine on a Tuesday night and you're looking at this, it can put you off because of the noise. And you could think, oh, there's a lot of debate going on. I'm not sure if I want to get involved. When in fact, when you look under the bonnet, the Portuguese government, left, right, central, there's 4 billion euros a year coming into Portugal because of the Golden Visa. Now, to a population of 16, 17 million, that's a huge amount of money. So all of the parties are aligned in terms of the Golden Visa. This is just a debate on whether we're waiting and let people time served for another 5 years to get a passport. Yeah. But the noise is putting people off. That's the important thing.
I totally agree. This is just noise. This is regardless of being left or right parties, the biggest parties agree that this is good for Portugal. Of course, they have been updating the program over the years, which makes sense. But the biggest parties and those who are in charge of this, they agree that this is important. Of course, on the extreme sides, you have some parties against, or some parties in favor that would like to get back the, let's say, the real estate option, but that's in a real world will happen anytime soon. So the program we have now with the investment options we have, the investment funds, is a very stable program. And in my opinion, I'm not expecting this to change anytime soon.
No, and thank you, Vasco. Look, I think that's important, everybody. Please don't delay. The Golden Visa is very much alive and kicking, the #1 residency by investment program in the world, as more potential Golden Visa investors arrive with us here in Lisbon. So thank you very much for watching, but please don't delay. Invest today. And Vasco, thank you so much. That was very informative. We're going to get this video posted very, very quickly because it is live and very important information for people out there considering the Golden Visa to have.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, and we'll see you in season 5.
Thank you.